All right. I'm excited to hear about the law of attraction and the law of perpetual transmutation of energy.
Man,
Hmm.
yes.
Oh, can we pause so I can pee one more time?
Now, you know what? Leave that in the damn podcast. Okay. Don't you edit that out.
Fine, I'll leave it in.
Yes, we need to
Okay,
let that happen.
please.
Yes, and that's
Okay.
going to be the title of this.
Exactly.
Y'all
That's
Please
going
need
to
to
pause
be
leave
the
so
the
I can
the
pee.
title.
title.
That's going to be
Yep.
the
And I'll
title.
pause so I can
Yep.
pee.
That is going to be
Yes.
perfect. Do it.
Wait, don't make me laugh, y'all. Hold on, I'll be right.
That's okay.
I think we're great everywhere else except where we don't know that we're great. It's just like when I just heard somebody talking about when they went to the Louvre Museum,
Yeah.
right? All they saw was melanated people throughout the
Mhm.
museum in the works of the museum.
Oh
And
yeah.
Mm.
everybody knows who we are and who we were except us.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
Yep.
that's the issue. So we're great everywhere.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
I
They
mean,
know.
we
That's what
all
this
are
Yep.
great. So
podcast is
yeah.
all about. That's the message.
Well, welcome back.
Yes.
Welcome
Thank you.
back.
Right, here we go.
Welcome to the Goddess-ity podcast, where women come together and have the audacity to tell their truths. Are you choosing to live out loud while honoring the divine within? Well, ladies, this is your movement. Join Akili, April, Juanita, and Linda as they dive deep into topics like self-love, spirituality, and Kemetic wisdom. We call those the foundations of goddess life. Tap in with the goddesses every week to be inspired, uplifted, and empowered.
Right. She's feeling better.
I
So,
am. I
all
am.
right.
Thank you so much, y'all.
You're welcome.
So, so Linda just blessed us with the law of correspondence and inspired action. What do we have next, Goddess Juanita?
We have the law of attraction, which pretty much it seems like we kind of been talking about. We talking about all the other laws, right? And that's because I'm sure a lot of people have maybe saw the movie The Secret. You might have read about the law of attraction because it's everywhere, right? It's everywhere. You can't get away from it. And people think, oh, maybe I just need to think about something and I should get it, or I just need to, but it's really not that simple. It's simple, but not that simple. Because, like they've been talking about, when you first got to decide what you want, right? And I guess I'll say first, even if you have not decided what you wanted, but you're vibrating at a certain frequency. So let's just say you're in a situation, it's a negative situation, and I mean you're just negative about everything. You don't like your day, you don't like your job, you don't like this, you don't like people. I mean, you're vibrating low. So what are you going to continue to attract? You're going to attract everything that you don't like. Why? Because
Yeah.
that's where you are. And so you can only receive at the level that you are at, right? That's what the law of attraction is saying. So basically, what you want to do to really utilize this law is you want to make sure that you're aligning up everything. First, you want to be intentional about what you want. Intentional. Because if you're not intentional and you're just saying, oh, I don't know what I want, I'm just going to see what happens. Well, you're going to get and you don't know what you're going to get because
Yeah.
every thought racing through your mind, everything that's coming up. And what you have to realize is the first thing is you have to have this desire, you have to have this thought, this want, right? And so when you start understanding how this law of attraction works, you have to really learn how to guard your mind. Because as a man think it, that's what you become, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's in the word, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so as you're watching things on TV, you have to guard what are you watching? If you're looking at the news, you have to guard that because those things come into your mind and they become your thoughts. They even might become your belief systems. All of these things have to do with your track. And so basically what you're having to do is you want to decide what you want. You want to have those thoughts, right? And then you want to say, hey, like for instance, let's just say you had a goal. Maybe you want to be an entrepreneur. Maybe you want to have your own business, right? So the first thing you want to say, okay, I want to have my own business, okay? And then you want to sit down and start thinking about what kind of business you want to have. You know, maybe you don't even know that yet, but just start visualizing yourself, seeing yourself being a boss, seeing yourself putting together a business plan. I mean, start seeing yourself taking these actions, because as you start seeing yourself taking those actions and you start being excited about it, because not only do you have to want it and desire it, you have to have that emotion, because that emotion is kind of like your, how you can say, it's kind of like your gear shift. It's kind of that thing that cranks it in the motion and get it going. Like if you say, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, but you ain't really excited about it, that means you ain't really got no desire in it. It's like, yeah, you said it, but you ain't really wanting it. And then like we talked about before with the inspired actions, once you start saying, I desire it, you start getting excited about it, you start visualizing it, putting a plan together, then you started taking the action. Maybe your first action is you're going to go out and look and see what kind of company you can create, but you'll start taking those actions. And as you see yourself doing that, then you're going to see that you're going to be able to meet those goals. I mean, if we probably look at all of our lives, we'll see how where we are now, how did we get here? How did we manifest that thing? How did we make that thing happen, right? I mean, one of the classes that I took where we all kind of met together with Kemetic Center Living. And one of the things I remember that the master teacher had us do, which was just a huge thing for me, because I had some limited beliefs that I had to get over. I had this limited belief, a lot because of Christianity, that I was comfortable where I was living. And I had been living there for 20 years. And my family had outgrown where we were living, but I was comfortable. I was in this mindset that, you know, hey, I just should feel blessed where I am. I shouldn't want anymore. I mean, it's like selfish of me where people are starving and going without for me to reach for the stars, right? You know, for me to reach for more. And so I started thinking, okay, I'm good where I am. But then he had us to do this exercise where we're supposed to write checks to ourselves. And I don't know if y'all remember this exercise. We had to write checks to ourselves. And so I started writing these checks. And so I started saying, okay, what can I buy for $5,000? What can I buy for $50,000? I started writing $50,000 checks. And I was like, wow, okay, well, I need to put a down payment on a new house. And I need to, you know, and I started buying furniture for the house and doing all this. And lo and behold, 3 or 4 months later, I had a new house.
Woo!
But, you get me? But it's like my belief had to do a whole 360 in saying, okay, I don't have to stay here. I don't have to be content. I can reach for more. I can go for more, right? And as I started changing my beliefs, started doing this exercise. And part of the exercise was just getting me to realize, hey, maybe I've never written a $50,000 check, but I can write a $50,000 check, right? It was just lining all that up. So the law of attraction is just really about not only saying, hey, this is what I want, and it's going to pop your fingers. No, it requires you thinking the thought, and it requires you aligning up visually what you want to do, and it requires you taking action to move yourself in the direction of that goal. And you continue to do that, and eventually what you want, it's like you're requesting this from the universe, and the universe has got to give it to you. So it's just you staying on path to get there, and you will get there. So law of attraction is about lining everything up, everything that we said before, you know, with the vibration, being in alignment with what you want, and you will get it. That's the law of attraction. The next law I have to talk to is like a big word, the law of perpetual transmutation. And this law really just has to do with basically wherever you are vibrating at any point in time, you can change your vibration. You can change that. So let's just say I wake up in the morning and I'm not feeling good. I don't know what it is. This is my mood. I just don't feel it. Well, I'm the kind of person that what changes for me is if I start dancing, that's it. I can increase my vibration just like that. That's just something that does it for me. Going out and walking in nature, I can change my vibration just like, but usually put on some music and it's a party about to happen right here. That's all it is. The party is on and I'm ready to go. And my vibration is on point. I'm ready to go. And basically, I don't know if you've ever experienced it before, but I have literally been at a situation where I've walked into a room and I can feel the vibration change. I mean, it's just like, whoop. And I'm like, I mean, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced that before. Have you experienced that you walked in the room and all of a sudden you can tell like, it's like something changed. And of course, it's wherever you walked into, you just moved into that space and you change that vibration. And most of the times it's easier to change the vibration if something is low and you walk in, you can bring up the vibration. I mean, have you ever seen that happen? So maybe something going on in your meeting. I don't know, anything could be happening. And there's a person comes in and everything just changes, right? Now I've seen the other thing happen too, where everybody is having a good time and somebody comes in gives some food, everything just changes, right? It's like,
Right.
so I know we have all experienced it. We just maybe some people might not know what it was, but that's literally what it is. They just came in, they either increased it or they brought it all the way down, and we like, oh man, it's bad. But anyway, and so basically, if you look at this, you can just tell there's kind of like a building block with all of these laws. They're not like individual laws, they're all interrelated, right? And so to me, the law of attraction is the biggest one that you can talk about. But as I heard other people talking, we really didn't have this law on our list, but there's another law that's very critical in this whole self-love, and that is the law of allowing.
Oh, yes.
And a law of allowing says that I'm gonna allow you to do exactly what you want to do, right? I'm not gonna stress over your choices. I'm just not. Because that's a part of the self-care, like Goddess Linda was saying, the boundaries. The boundaries, is there going to be a point where I'm going to be there for you as a friend, and I'm going to be your friend, or I'm going to be in this relationship with you, whatever it is. But there's a point where I have to say, for my own self-love, because as women, we're so used to, right, trying to be there and do everything for everybody else, right? But we really, a lot of times, are not really there for ourselves. I mean, some of us probably even will feel guilty when we start talking about the law of attraction and me really focusing on what I want and actually putting forth efforts to get what I want to do. Like, how selfish of you to only just think of getting what you want, right? Because as women, we're supposed to sacrifice everything. It's like, we're supposed to go to work, we're supposed to come home, clean the house, we're supposed to take care of the kids. And hey, if you happen to have some time at the end, then you can do something for yourself. But by that time, you're usually exhausted. You don't have nothing left for yourself, right? If you don't prioritize yourself, right? So this whole law of attraction is starting to say for us women, what is it that we want for ourselves, right? And a lot of times that is with the law of allowing, let other people, allow them to do some things for themselves, even like your kids. I mean, your children. It's like, okay, if you washing the clothes and clean up their room and all this stuff for them, that's a problem, right? You're gonna have to allow them to do some things for themselves, right? So that you can have some time for yourself. So a lot of times we talk about boundaries. It's just not about friends. It's about your children. I think for me, I have grown children, but sometimes they say they're grown, but when it comes to doing things, not necessarily. You know what I mean? But I think that's what's saying. The law of allowing is letting people do things, and then you say, that's their choice. That's what they want to do. And I have to let them do that because this is their experience. Just like I get to manifest my life and I desire, they get to manifest theirs. Whether I agree with it or I don't agree with it, it really does not matter because it's still their life experience and their choice. And I have to allow them to have their life experience. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. Because who are you to block their lesson or their blessing?
Yeah.
Who are you? Just because it doesn't line up with what you think should be for them.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And I think a lot of these, they're universal. These Kemetic principles are universal because they relate and apply on every level of life that you can think of, right? So as you were talking about allowing, and we're talking about self-love, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in addition to allowing people to be who and what they are, allowing what you desire to come to you, allowing the love in, right?
Yeah.
Allowing
Oh.
yourself to feel the way you truly want to feel. Because like Linda said, we get in our own way. You know what I mean? With our belief systems and what we think we can't have or shouldn't do. And humbling can be life-changing in terms of gaining perspective about yourself, but sometimes we can humble ourselves down into the ground, child. Well, we got an itty-bitty amount of self-love and worth left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but just
Yes.
like really, as you start to understand these principles and really understand who you are, what you are, that you are deserving, that you are worthy and deserving of love, of peace, of joy, of abundance, of all kinds. And that includes money. That includes wealth. That includes, you know what I'm saying? And so we will learn to attract it, right? Oh, I'm going to focus. I'm going to write my affirmations and I'm going to try to, but then we don't really allow it to come to us.
Yeah.
So true.
Right? Because we get in our own way with these other things, right? Because inspired action is one thing, but sometimes, like you said, we'll effort in a way. we don't have that balance where we allow it to remain inspired. Right?
Never turns to action.
It's just straight on action. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And
yes.
so, yeah. So that's just another way of allowing. There's so many ways you can look at it, honestly.
Oh man, multiple ways. That's what's so genius about the Kemetic principles themselves is that they can be so simplistic, but they can also be so just mind-blowing to like how can you see it from that many angles and that many places? And I mean, we could be talking forever about every one of these and how many ways you can look at it, right? I mean, wow.
Yeah.
That's those pyramid builders. What can we say now? What can we say?
Nothing can we say. They
We
still
can say
figure out how they
thank
did it yet.
Right.
They still speculating on how did they do this. They done came up with so many things that they say, okay, we don't know.
That's right.
So then that's why we got to have some aliens come down and all kinds of stuff to build pyramids.
I don't know why they didn't build any in Europe.
I know.
But I will say they built them we built them everywhere we went. Okay. So that we figured it out. We know the system, but I'm just that intelligence is just unbelievable. It's amazing what you have the ability to create and manifest when there's not a bunch of concepts of objections in your way. When all you understand is pure creation and energy and there is no other way. I mean, what in the world?
Yes.
The sky
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Yes.
And you know what? It's so hard when you it's so hard when you tell people that and they look at you because it's like, I mean, I think sometimes people like, I don't even want to, it's like, it's almost like, I don't even want to think because maybe I might create something that.
Right.
Let me think. I gotta, wait a minute. That's not think because we don't know what we're creating, right?
Okay. That's
exactly.
That is true.
The beauty comes when you become aware.
Yes.
I believe. Yeah, because there's one thing to you're putting it out there, but then when you become aware that what you have put out there is actually has come to pass and has manifested itself, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to wake up in the morning knowing that you have control in that area. It's like, okay, well, this is what I'm going to create today.
Yeah.
And that is one thing that I do when I go into a situation. It's like I want to go and enjoy myself and have fun, and make new friends.
Yeah. Yeah. And make
You
friends.
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I was saying, and that you bring with you. So you bring that intention, right? In every
yes,
place you come. And because you brought that intention, that's what you're gonna get.
exactly. I already have an invitation to come up to Canada. Met a lady, and we got to talking, and just realizing so much in our lives sync up together. And she was just like, I want to invite you to come up and visit me and my family. And I'm just like, okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Linda, I would expect that from you. No less would I expect.
Yes.
No less. No less. No
Yes.
less.
Yeah,
Correct.
so I'm just gonna say it. I'm a walking billboard for all these principles that we've been talking about. You know,
Nice.
That's what I'm talking about, Linda. You do it, girl.
yeah.
You do that thing.
Hey,
I love that.
Right,
I
run it.
love it.
yeah,
I love it.
yeah, yeah. And I wasn't always aware, and it's just like I said, that awareness, and it's like,
Yes.
wow, yeah,
It
yeah.
changes
And
everything.
we are powerful beyond belief.
It changed. You're
Yes.
right. When you said that, April, it changes everything.
It does. It
Yes.
Man,
changes
I mean, your
everything.
eye, it's almost like what they say. It's like somebody's pulled away the covering over your eyes, your heart, everything, and you just like, wow. It's like being a
Yeah.
kid in a place you ain't never been, like somewhere in a whole bunch of toys with a kid, and you just looking around, going, "Oh my God, what do I start
Ooh.
with?" Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when those moments of fear come up in me, and I have to step back and say, okay, hold on. What is there to fear? Honestly, what is there to fear? Because guess what? If everybody is fearful right now, we wouldn't be doing anything. I said, so, we are all fearful at, certain points in time, but I have to remind myself, what is there to be fearful about? Just get
Yeah.
out there and do it and enjoy it,
You
Yes.
know,
and
I think
inspire,
as we
be an
talk about
inspiration.
as we talk about the divine oneness, I mean, one of the things that is studying and talking about is if we feel like that we're all one and we're not separate, then how do we ever feel like somebody is against us? Because that means we're against ourselves,
Yes.
right? Or we have
Ooh,
some enemy. That means we're against because we're all one.
yes.
If you're against something or you're against somebody, that means you're also against yourself, right? Because we all
Yes.
connected.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that is so beautiful. And I think that's
And
why
I
it's
think that's
easy.
why, like in the word, it says, "Who can stand against me?" If we go back to my religious days, who can stand against me? And I think about that when I think about we all being one. And I said, okay, that makes so sense if you say, "Who can stand against me?" Because are we standing against ourselves? I mean, in this physical world, we think that things are against us, and that we think there's some way that by them being against us, it's going to stop whatever we want to do. But
Right.
when we understand our own divine power, right, then
Right.
we understand that there's nothing that can stand in the way of us getting what we want, because we have the power to manifest our own life.
That's right.
Period.
Exactly. Exactly.
Keeping
And as
it.
April said, they're brought here to give us, they're teaching us.
Yeah.
There's a
So,
lesson in all of that.
mhm.
Yes. That's what I was gonna say. Like, well, they might be against you.
Yeah, but there's a challenge. But what they're going to
But
do is,
there's a
right,
lesson
they're
in
going
it.
to come against us. And by them coming against that, then we're going to learn a lesson that's going to take us to the next level, right?
There we go. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And
Yes.
their pineal gland might be less calcified potentially,
Yeah.
right? So
Their
that
frontal
part,
lobe might not be well developed. We don't know.
exactly.
You know what
That's
I'm
what I'm
saying?
saying. But yeah, they will definitely teach us. I feel like everybody in your life is an assignment.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Every person, I feel like you have to end up having some sort of relationship with, from
Mm-hmm.
people that you work with to all of
Yeah.
these
Well, I mean, you get
podcasts
some
to,
good lessons. You get some
yes,
good
it does.
lessons.
Yeah, yeah. So it might be some people against you, but that's all right. They
At
they
least
they
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 think they're against
understand
you.
the assignment.
Yeah, they do it.
Yeah, as you said, Juanita, you think they're against you,
And they
but
might
they're
think it
there
too.
to deliver, as Achilles that assignment,
That is
you know? And it's just be like, I'm telling you now, that's my approach. If something happens to me and I just don't really like it, I'm like, nope, there's a lesson in this.
That's
What
right.
did you ask for? What
Mhm.
Mhm.
have you asked for that it is coming about in this whole situation?
There
That's
you
right.
And
go.
I just be like, and then I sit back and I smile because I'm like, you know what? It's all gonna work out for me.
All
That's
right.
right.
I
All
sit
gonna
back
work
and smile because I figured, hey, they gonna take me to the next level.
That's right.
I'm ready for the next level.
Yes.
Yep. That's what it is. Just like DMX said, X gonna give it to you. That's what they're here to do.
That's what they're here to do, huh?
Oppose.
Yes,
Yes. Yep.
Oppose.
yes,
Yep. Yep.
yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So,
All right.
all right, April.
Goddess April.
Yes, I'm having a moment right now of
I saw it.
realization. Yeah.
I felt it.
And I'm probably going to share it.
Well, go ahead right away. Do that thing. Do that thing.
Maybe I should allow it to sit in and process and share it next podcast.
Hey, whatever
Sounds
you feel like
heavy.
you need to do.
Huh?
It sounds heavy.
Yeah, I mean it is, it's not, it's
But
not,
you need to
it's
release it.
I need to
Release.
release right now.
Yes.
Because you ain't gonna be able to sleep all night if you don't release it. You better release it. Let it go. Let it go.
Mm-hmm.
So I am in a situation right now. It's so interesting because I say this all the time. I say that, we just got through saying it's like one thing after another. I'm just listening to you guys talking, and then it's like boop, 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 like the light bulbs, the connections are being made, all of the things are happening. Because I know better, right? It's one of those things like once you know what you know, you can't unknow it, right? And it doesn't mean that you aren't going to find yourself in difficult situations. It doesn't mean you aren't going to have opposition. It doesn't mean that you aren't still going to have these lessons that you need to learn. And I would even say that there's layers to lessons, right? Because you get so much of it at a time. And so you may even wonder, like, why am I still dealing with this? Why am I still coming up against these same things or these same people or these same patterns? Because I'm like, I'm done, y'all. I feel like I learned my lesson already. I'm ready to be over it. You know what I mean? But there's another level to it. There's another layer to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
because
yeah.
this stuff can be so um it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. And that's why it's a journey, because you can only like digest and process so much of it at once. And you incorporate what you can,
Mm-hmm.
at the level that you're at in that moment. And so you keep going, and then there's some more. You know what I mean? And so I'm hearing you guys talking because I literally have asked myself as I'm in this situation where I still find myself saying I feel stuck. I still feel like I'm ready to be free. I'm ready to live my life. I'm ready to do all of these things. Now, even with all the things we talked about, all the things that I know, all of the principles, all of the practices, and all of these things. And so I even just got to a point where I just stopped and I said, listen, I need to know what the lesson is.
Mhm.
I'm going to need you to be very clear. Like, I need to know what else don't I know or understand that I'm still in this place of feeling like I'm stuck or I'm still dealing with the same things, right? And as you guys were talking about, and I'm just going to go ahead and be very transparent because that's the whole point of this. I'm going to audaciously show up in this moment. Um, I am separated, but still cohabitating.
Okay.
And it can be very trying. It can be very difficult. And it's not that there isn't, for the most part, peace on a regular basis, because no longer being together has created or has lifted a lot of things, right? That we don't need to talk about. There isn't that tension. But I've been technically single for over 2 years, but I don't feel like it. Like I'm ready. I mean, I do and I don't. And I'm just like, what else is there? Something else? Because I think that I'm doing all of the things, right? That I need to do so that I can then move on, so that I can generate or create whatever I need to do to have whatever foundation and stability. Because it's not just me. I have 2 young children still that are at home. So what am I missing? Right? Because I've manifested things many of times. I know how to shift energy. I know how to do all of these things. So what am I missing? And what has come to me as you guys were talking, the principle of my this whole idea of balance, of healthy boundaries and loving myself. These are things that I have to work through and get to this place where I love myself just as much or not more, to do what I need to do to take care of me and to do what's in my best interest, right? And to set these healthy boundaries and to make a very difficult decision to say, after 10, 11 years, 12 years, 12 years, sheesh, that, you know what, all is well. You know who you are, you know what you are, and it is safe for you to make this decision to separate. It's okay, right? It's okay. And so in the process of like making that decision, it's like, oh, this weight was lifted, but then I'm still in it and I'm still trying to figure things out. And so there's this resentment and there's this unresolved anger. And what I have struggled with is the balance between having healthy boundaries and still having love and compassion.
Yeah.
And so, Juanita, you saying that we're all one, right? They are essentially you. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone that you're coming up against is connected to you. You're one with them. And so I realized that this anger, this frustration, is it really about them?
No.
No.
About a reflection of you.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're looking back at yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So it's, yeah, and it's a very delicate balance of having, like I said, making these healthy decisions, having these healthy boundaries, and still figuring out how to have love and compassion, not just for them, but for yourself as I'm navigating all of this.
Yeah.
And what am I holding on to in terms of guilt?
Yeah, maybe you need to forgive yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, because I'm like, I don't want to feel angry. I don't want to be mad. And I feel like I've let go. I'm not holding on to anything in terms of this person, but then I know that I am. But at the bottom of it, because at the end of the day, I'm responsible. I'm responsible because guess what? I tolerated, I stayed, I accepted.
Yeah.
So have I forgiven myself for that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You need to forgive yourself.
Mm-hmm.
probably not.
This is awesome. This is awesome realization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
April. This is a step that you needed to take. This is you're on your way.
Yeah, you're on your way.
It's not, yeah, you're on your way.
Yeah. And I
we're
think
here.
choosing because I know who I naturally am, and I have not liked myself at times throughout this. I don't like it. And I will catch myself, but there are times when I feel like this person, this situation makes me like this. It's like we want to put the blame on the other person.
Yes.
You know what I'm
because you don't
saying?
want to make the decision that you need to make.
Yes.
You don't want to take the action that April needs to take.
For April.
Yes, for April. Yeah.
And you may not even know fully and completely what that is. So that becomes something that paralyzes you, right? Because you're so afraid of the outcomes one way or the other.
Ooh,
One of
child.
you know, one of the things that really helped me try to gain some insight into like frustrated and stuck feelings was some work that again has roots in everything that we're talking about, Kemetic roots,
Yeah.
but there's something called the work that was made more popular by Byron Katie, but all it is Kemetic wisdom, right? Just simplified in a different way. And one of the things that she said is when you have a frustration or you have a frustrating thought about somebody, let's say that I was like, all right, well, I'm upset with Joe because I believe that Joe disrespects me. What the work has you do is go through a process of asking yourself 4 questions and then responding accordingly. So the first question that you would ask yourself is that true?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which we know the answer could be yes or no in your mind, but for those of us who understand what truth really is, it's gonna have you ponder that kind of back and forth, right? The
Yeah.
second question is, are you absolutely sure that that's true?
Now this I wasn't expecting that one.
Give you another chance. Give you another chance.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what it is when you talk about this, right? It's like, how do you know that that's actually true,
Yeah.
Exactly.
right? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And then the third question is because I don't want to get the third one mixed up with the fourth one, but this was so helpful for me.
Yeah.
How do you act when you believe that thought?
Ooh.
That's the third one. How do you react or what happens when you believe that thought? And then the fourth question is, who would you be without that thought?
Ooh.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Ooh.
Good. Good
And
stuff.
one of the things that also was helpful is that then you do a reversal of what your frustration is. Because of course you guys are all saying that, right? It's a reflection of you, right? But sometimes it's hard to consider what that means. So if I was going to do a reflection statement, instead of me saying, I am mad at Joe because Joe disrespects me, it becomes, I am mad at Akili because Akili disrespects me.
Ooh.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was going through a situation and I had to keep processing that just in terms of understanding my frustration, right? I had known all these things again about metaphysics and okay, we need to understand our attraction and I can change my thoughts, but I needed a structure, right? Because sometimes I gotta function with structure. So this became a really good way to be able to write those things down and actually look at it and do those reversal statements and, you know, see what do I need to realize and what am I really telling myself?
I really appreciate
It's
that.
awesome.
It is. It really is. It's so funny because I was on a call before we got on this one. And I was talking to a friend and they said, well, two things, two things can be true at the same time. And I said, absolutely. There are billions of things that are true at the same time, right? And I said, you know what? Bingo, that's what it is. I said, you know what? For the rest of the day, That's what I'm doing. When I start to think something or whatever, I'm gonna interrupt and be like, what else is true? Because that's what else is true. So the fact that this even came up in this way is so crazy. But I'm loving these questions as opposed to just doing that because it really takes you there. It really can help you get there in a whole nother way than just saying, oh, I'm gonna think a better feeling thought. Or what else is true?
Yeah.
Which I
And
naturally
April,
do
I
anyway.
want to. I'm sorry to talk over you.
No.
I just want to offer you another question to add um, to your time of reflection.
Yeah.
And it could. What is it that you're wanting of that other person that you are not giving to yourself?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like I've done a lot of this work, but there's still clearly, I think I stopped asking and I just started being angry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm over it. I'm done. I don't want,
Yeah, I don't want to figure this out anymore. I'm completely on it.
over it.
Why don't you just get on?
Mm-hmm.
Leave me
Mm-hmm.
alone already.
Leave me
Yep.
alone. I don't want to reflect on
Yep.
this anymore. I just want you
Yep.
out now. Yeah,
Yep. But this
that's
has
a reasonable
nothing to
thing.
do with him. Has
Yeah.
nothing to do with him.
And
Everything
it's
to do
like
with
I
you.
know that. Like everything in me knows that, but I'm like, what is it? And we've talked about this before and I shared it. I'm like, why am I running away from some? I'm running away
Mm-hmm.
from really going there, And it's like it's there. It's like I know it. It's sitting right there. But it's almost
Yes. Yes.
like it's got his back to me, like, nope.
You know,
Yep. And
you know what,
yeah.
Goddess April is so funny because I remember us talking in some other conversations.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, as you're talking about, like the kind of avoidance thing, is I remember us talking about meditation, and you were
Yes.
saying that you weren't doing it because you didn't want, like, you didn't want to be in that quiet place because you were going to get some kind of message that maybe you didn't want to get. You know what I mean? And as you're saying this, I'm going back and saying, okay,
Yep.
like
Again.
it's like because you know when you go to the divine and you ask the question, you gonna get an answer, and that's
Exactly.
because I ain't never went and asked the question. I mean, that answer be like ding, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it's like especially when you ask the question and you really already know the answer because you already have been told the answer, but you still
Mm-hmm.
don't ask like you really don't know what it is. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
change
Yeah.
time around, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. And
Yep.
that's actually something different. Like I struggle with meditation, but I don't struggle with communication. Like I don't
Okay,
struggle with
you still
asking the
get your
question and getting
communication.
the answers. That what you're talking about, I was saying that there's this place that I know that exists, and perhaps the only way to reach it is through meditation, child. But it's like I'm afraid of this other aspect of me. There's something there that
Okay.
I'm afraid of. And part of it, maybe I'm afraid that it's something that I don't want to face in terms of like something negative. But then at the same time, it's like I'm afraid of my own power. It's almost like how like when you first started learning about these principles and like when you started like it started really creeping into your mind and settling in like, oh, I am it, like, you know what I mean, and like how it starts to
Mm-hmm.
become like this big thing and it can become overwhelming and almost scary because it's like a rabbit hole. It's like, oh my God, what does that mean? You know what I mean? It's almost like that is like I'm afraid of what that truly, and it's silly as I'm saying it because why wouldn't I want that?
But April, what if it's something like awesome? I
But that's
mean,
the thing. That's what I'm saying. It's like when I say afraid of my own power, it's almost like and oh, okay. I just okay, all
I'll
right.
tell
So I just received, but I just told me, yes. I just heard it because oh shit. Okay.
Hey,
I gotta keep it real.
breakthrough.
I gotta keep it
Keep
real.
it real.
Another breakthrough.
The reality is that what was that saying? You can't be a god and a victim at the same time.
There you
There's
go.
a part of me that does not want to let go of the pain, that does not want to let go.
Yes, you are addicted to the pain.
Yep.
There's a part of
Yep.
me that wants to feel justified in feeling the way that I feel because of how I've been treated and all the things that I've been through, and finally letting go of it all and really standing in my power and owning my divinity, like on 100, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've gotten comfortable with the pain, right?
Yes.
You've gotten comfortable at that place.
Comfortable and addicted to it.
And
Because once you're trying to allow yourself to feel what it feels like to be that success that you know that you're capable of, that's scary.
Scares the shit.
And you immediately go back to what is comfortable.
It
You
scares.
already know all the stories. You play those stories over
everything.
and over again that keep bringing those emotions up, that keep you in that victim mentality. Keep practicing that visualization of what your success is going to be.
See it.
And allow that feeling and acknowledge that feeling that, hey, I am scared. I'm scared of this, but sit with it.
Yeah. That's it right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Sitting in it. Ooh, child.
We were talking about this in the previous episode about the audacity to be a goddess. Don't be afraid to do what? That thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid. Because April, you got it. I mean, when I think of you, April, when I visualize you, because I visualize all of you goddesses, and I just see, oh my God, great things. Great things. I mean, impossible things that people might say. I see greatness in all of you. So, April, there's nothing there but greatness.
Yes.
Ain't nothing to fear because it's going to be awesome. And we need you to tap into that thing and bring that thing out for the rest of the world. We need it. Don't forget that. This whole thing is going to stretch us out because we're talking about what? The audacity, right? To what? Embody our divinity. All of it.
Yeah.
Right? No fear. Everything off. This is it. Dropping the shackles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some work to do.
We all do. But hey, it's great. It's great. It's wonderful. I mean, this is wonderful because this is where we are. We on this journey together.
Yes.
And I am so happy that I'm on this journey with you amazing ladies. I mean, I can't imagine anybody else that I want to be on this journey with because you guys are awesome.
Well, thank you, Juanita. So are you. And April, thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable with us, with the other goddesses and those who are watching us, because you just allowed someone else to own and say, you know what, that's what I'm struggling to as well, with as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for being open and sharing that because that's gonna help a lot of people.
I appreciate you all holding a safe space for me to do that. I appreciate y'all so much. You have no idea. And just
you're welcome.
Pouring in. It means so much.
All
you're welcome.
Vibes.
You're welcome.
All the positive vibes.
So we all need a space to land.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
and on that note, hopefully this podcast will be a safe space for all of you to land.
Man, because it's getting hot up in here. It's getting hot in here. Okay. Man, we can't just talk about it. We got to feel about it, right?
That's true.
That's true. Oh, man. So too.
We had a
No, but
big
this
time.
has been amazing. It's kind of a long one. I don't know if we're going to be editing, where there are some moments that I could edit out. I was told not to. We'll see.
I'm doing
You,
this
you,
today.
you can edit some stuff out, but we're gonna leave the toilet in.
Yeah.
Okay. If you made it to this part, you already know what we're talking about.
That's right.
But thank you, ladies. As always, it's been amazing. And who it is, I think, important, even as we continue on our journeys, to revisit these things that we know, because I mean, look what just happened in this moment. I've been on my journey for many years, and I've sat with many people, and we've talked about, and it's like, you know it, but it's always an evolution. It's always another
Yes.
level of learning and applying and shifting and understanding, right? So I think it's great that we had this episode and that we were able to delve into those principles to hopefully, educate anyone who wasn't familiar with them, and anyone who was, maybe, shed a new light, a new perspective, a new way of looking at it, especially when it comes to loving yourself, because that is at the root of everything. At the root of everything, because you are the center of your universe. You are creating, as we have talked about in all of these different ways, you are creating the life that you are living right now. So that if you don't love this being, this entity, right, and are not living from a place of self-love, your life is going to reflect that back to you. So we hope that you have enjoyed this episode. We appreciate you being here. And we encourage you to have the audacity to embrace your inner divinity. And with that, we are out. Peace.
Yes. Like or subscribe.
Yes, like and subscribe. Okay, my turn to run to the potty.
I'm leaving that in. No.
That's right.